Hi, this is Scott Wheeler. I'm back. This time I'm going to share with you a resolution kindly approved by the Cass County, North Dakota Commission in April 2025 regarding my Lawrence Welk project. I had the opportunity to call into that meeting, and Cass County, I'll give you a quick overview. It's the most populous county in North Dakota. It is the home to the state's largest city of Fargo. And of course, being part of having Fargo there, it's part of the Fargo Moorhead metropolitan area. Excuse me, I had a brain pause for a moment. So it also has North Dakota State University as an important part of, especially the Fargo area. And so you can see for those reasons why it would be a big deal, a great honor. It's something I really wanted, sort of like a golden trophy, if you like. I mean, Bismarck being the state capital, Burleigh County, where they're located, is still on the agenda as something that I want very much. And Cass County is one of those symbolic, gigantic parts of the state that's very important. And also, NDSU gave Lawrence Welk an honorary degree in 1965. So there's that, and the Fargo Moorhead Symphony Orchestra gave me a letter of support that I intend on making a video about. The mayor of Fargo gave me a proclamation, or should I say signed a proclamation following my request. And I want to make a video about that as well. So before I start reading this, I just maybe should say that I'm kind of surprised, actually, as this journey has unfolded this year, of me reaching out across different parts of North Dakota by phone, email, Zoom, Teams, like that, that Fargo, even though it makes sense in terms of its importance as the largest city and for Cass County as the largest county, it makes sense that they would have a very important contribution to make. But maybe it just goes back to how perceptions or stereotypes, especially if you're somebody who's never even been to the state in person like me. I want to go, but I haven't been yet. Your perception or stereotype can be off. And so I guess I expected for like the rural parts of the state to be carrying a lot of the early thrust. And I have had a lot of support in rural North Dakota, including Lawrence Welk's home county of Emmons County, Steele County, Golden Valley County. I could go down the list of rural counties in the state that have been very kind to me and my project. But I'm just saying that I expected places like that to be a lot easier. But Fargo has been very kind in terms of different elected officials and the documents that they've approved for me. And I want to say thank you to them. And I want to thank all of the staff behind the scenes that have helped. I want to thank the auditor of Cass County. I would like to express my gratitude to, the county administrator of Cass County as well. I'm honored by the help, whether publicly, privately, unbeknownst to me, behind the scenes, maybe, however this came about. I'm very happy to have them on board. I mean, the county commission on board, and for any help that other people associated with them and the mayor's office in Fargo have given me, and the city commission, to the extent that city commissioners in Fargo were supportive, because I don't think that this was taken up as a vote. But, I wouldn't be surprised if the city commissioners were reached out to. I mean, I believe I wrote to them myself. But I'm saying in addition to what I had done, I wouldn't be surprised if there was somebody from the mayor's office that sought their input on the matter. And I'd like to think that there wasn't an objection, or at least not a large enough one, to get in the way of the mayor signing the proclamation. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that deserves a shout out. So having said all that, let me show you one of my pride and joys of my efforts here. Here it is, Cass County Government Resolution. Let's see, it looks like it says number 2025-04. I'm thinking that refers to it being considered at the April 2025 meeting. You can see it's signed here by the Cass County Commission Chairman. And it says, real quick, let me show you the Fargo one, which I want to make a video about maybe today. This is from the mayor of Fargo. As I said, also in Cass County, largest city in North Dakota, the city of Fargo proclamation for Lawrence Welk. Both this one and the Cass County resolution are for July 2nd, which is tomorrow. And so I just want to say, too, that I'm grateful to the extent that Fargo area media has reached out to me. I want to express my gratitude for that opportunity earlier on in the project. It gave me a boost in morale that's helped to sustain me in doing this as the months have gone by. That more recently, I had another outlet in the area. We don't have a set time as to if something might be put out to the public, but they have been in contact and expressed interest, the second source. And so now that I've shared that and said all that, let's go here. Whereas July 2nd, 1955 will mark the 70th anniversary of the national debut of the Lawrence Welk Show on television, a show which was aimed at family-friendly variety in acts and music which spanned numerous genres such as country, jazz, pop, polka, and patriotic. Whereas Lawrence Welk, a native of Strasburg, North Dakota, took to the national stage values and love for music that started like crops in North Dakota soil, and the harvest benefited generations of Americans during times of war and peace, prosperity and difficulty. Whereas in North Dakota, he was recognized in his lifetime, such as being inducted into the Rough Rider Hall of Fame in 1961, awarded an honorary degree by North Dakota State University in 1965. Later, his birthplace, the Ludwig and Christina Welk homestead, where he lived until he was 21 and was placed on the National Register of Historic Places and is today open to the public and owned by the state of North Dakota. Whereas many North Dakotans are of full or partial German and or Norwegian descent, it is noteworthy that Lawrence Welk was of German-Russian heritage, German-Russian, pardon, in parentheses, heritage, and Myron Florin, originally from Webster, South Dakota, was the son of immigrants from Norway and was himself inducted into the Scandinavian American Hall of Fame in Minot, North Dakota in 1984. Their success stories are among the examples of how far Americans from anywhere in America can go with hard work and perseverance. Whereas the Lawrence Welk Show is still aired regularly across America in a number of states, including North Dakota on Sunday evenings in North Dakota, and more than 40 years after its last episode and more than 30 years after his passing. Whereas his aim at family-friendly entertainment is an example of a worthy goal in any generation, as is the idea of bringing together quality from the past and present, and worthy of all corners of North Dakota to come together to celebrate. Now, therefore, the Cass County Commission hereby proclaims July 2nd, 2025, Lawrence Welk Day, and a day to honor the Lawrence Welk Show in Cass County, North Dakota. And as I showed you, it was signed by the Cass County Commission chairman. Line that up, there we go. And so, as I say, I'm grateful whenever I get support, but it's special too, at the same time, to have such an important part of the state. Not that the other parts aren't, but you know what I mean, because of its percentage of the population, because of the presence of NDSU, the Fargo Moorhead Symphony Orchestra, the media outlet for one of the outlets for Western Minnesota, much of it, and Eastern North Dakota. So many reasons why the county and the city of Fargo are very important to have. And when reaching out, I don't know for sure, but when I try to reach out again to the governor's office and to Congresswoman Julie Fedorchak's office about my goals at honoring the 70th anniversary, I'd like to hope that this has some kind of a positive weight behind it, symbolically, and because of the percentage of the population represented, where the commission is able to speak on behalf of them and the mayor is able to represent that city, Fargo, that I'm hoping that can be a very great help, along with the rural elements that together make the kind of coalition that I really envision, because I'm interested in politics personally, and I like to look at election maps. The 49 state landslides of Richard Nixon in 72, Ronald Reagan 84 for Republicans, and then the landslides FDR got in the 30s on the Democratic side, for example. I like the idea of being able to look at a map and see almost all of the 3,000 plus counties in the United States behind one candidate, because it's interesting, if I can sidetrack for a moment, when you have close contests and you can maybe more clearly see regional distinctions, that's interesting. I find that fascinating as well. But I'm saying in terms of my goals, I wouldn't be surprised if in the end the Welk belt that I've spoke about, that I'm trying to strengthen and add on to and so forth. The part of the country that might be the most interested and supportive of the kinds of music that were on the show and of his legacy and things like that. That could stand out as a portion of the country. It could also turn out to be something that extends beyond just geographic boundaries. You might have general swaths, yes, but then you might also have here and over here pockets that geographically don't border each other. And so it's interesting. I want to see how close to a national sweep we can get. I mean, I started this in January this year. I'm intending to do this into early July 2026. I'm not making promises about how much I can achieve because it's up to commissioners, other elected officials, organizations, media. There's only so much. I mean, I can wish. I can want deeply, very badly for all of the letters of support and all the help that I want. But if I don't have an outstretched hand to meet mine, if I don't have the interest to connect with my interest, then that's not worth a lot. It's sort of like you go to the store and you see something that you'd like to buy, and boy, I really wish I had the money for it, but you still don't have the money, right? So I need to make sure, and I don't use that to say send me money. It's not what I'm getting. I'm just using that as an example to say that I can have all the passion and desire I want for this, but I need to have people of goodwill, whether they're passionate about it too, or at the very least, just trying to be kind and helpful, which is very appreciated as well. Any good motives in general, I welcome. And so I don't know time-wise, even giving myself about another year, almost exactly, because the anniversary date is tomorrow, how many of the nation's 3,000 plus counties I will be able to reach out to through the internet and phone and so forth. How many of the ones that I do get in touch with will give me a hearing, how many of them will approve something. And then, of course, I don't know how many businesses there are, I don't have the exact number of media outlets and newspapers across the country to reach out to of various types. There could be music magazines and music newspapers, newsletters. There could be, your standard local newspaper, your national newspaper, and so forth. And podcasts, there could be radio programs. That there's such a wide variety that, I know I have a general idea of the number of counties because you can look that up. And I could probably find out the number of TV shows, networks, newspapers, and everything like that. But I would think the number far exceeds 3,100 or whatever counties. And then, of course, as you get below the county level, you have all these cities, towns, villages, suburbs. And so you have a number of communities within counties. So I want to be wide and deep, like across and deep with my reach, my efforts, but even with a year, there's only so much you can do. And so I guess it kind of reminds me of a poster I saw in science class. I believe it was in 7th grade, where it said something like, reach for the stars, and even if you miss, reach for the moon, and even if you miss, you land among the stars, or something like that. And so that's part of the goal too, is you can't please everybody all the time, as the phrase goes. You can't get everything that you want, but maybe I could still get a lot of what I want. Maybe I could still get 60, 70, 80% of my goals achieved with this. Or even if I don't get 80% of the people I reach out to, or 60% that I reach out to, maybe if it's a smaller percentage, or even 20% or 30%, you don't have to have the broad majority on board or recognizing what you're doing to still get your goal achieved. I think that to an extent, one of the things I've learned over time is there's this expression, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I don't generally think that's the case in life. I mean, there could be instances where somebody that isn't really qualified and maybe not even too bright gets a position because of who they know. Okay, I'm not saying that never happens, but I would think that often it's either merit-based, that you genuinely get the job even if you don't know somebody, or if it is like buddy, good old boys or whatever, you're still put out there. Yeah, they know you. You might have an upper hand, but you still have a reason to be put forward in the first place. You still know stuff. You just happen to know this person. That makes it easier for you. So I say that to say that maybe in the course of this, I can grow my connections, my networking, and maybe through that can give me a kind of shortcut that makes this process easier, and I won't have to reach out to as many people to get my goals achieved. But it is still fun to reach out in a broader way. It's still, because I mean, you still never know where you're going to find the goodwill and the interest and openness. It's almost like you have a metal detector, right? And you might take that metal detector across a considerable portion of your backyard or of the shoreline at the beach or river or something like that. And most of the space, you'll get nothing worthy of keeping or giving to a museum or whatever. But all it takes is just a little percentage of the land, and you might find something that's extremely valuable or an extremely historic find, right? And it makes all the unreplied to letters, or on the other hand, all the space that you combed with your metal detector that didn't turn up anything, it makes it something's like, okay, I wish I would have had that time back, but it was worth it. It's sort of like we have experiences in life that were painful or a pain or time consuming. And would we have preferred that we didn't go through that? Probably yes. But at the same time, we can still look back and feel almost a kind of pride, depending on what it is, that, yeah, that was horrible and I wish I didn't have to go through it, but I made it through to the other side. You know, things got better on the other side. I endured it. I went through it, didn't enjoy it, but I'm here. I made it, and I can tell the story. You know, I can tell the tale, as they say. So, yeah, this journey hasn't been 100% smooth. I haven't gotten everything right away. I'm speaking in general here, but there have been a lot of great moments and experiences, some moments of laughter at some of the county commission meetings, you know, people sharing stories that might bring some laughter to myself or to the people there, good humored, I would think. And so, yeah, I mean, I would prefer to be honest with myself and remember the moments that were more down, more disappointing, but what good does that do my project, myself, you, the viewer, or anybody else, if that's all I dwell on? When I have all these documents I've been able to share with you, I have more that I can read. I have those happy memories. I've been able to meet people that 6-7 months ago and less in some cases I'd never even heard of. Maybe 0 people in North Dakota ever knew of me at all, you know, just because I'm a regular guy. And now, for better, for worse, in between, I probably emailed or talked to hundreds of people up there now, and it's been very interesting, and in some cases educational experience that I hope, as a person, not just as a person working on this project, has given me lasting benefit, helped me to learn maybe certain lessons in negotiating, communication, things like that, that in terms of reaching out to people for a goal or a job or whatever I can use, but also on a personal level and communicating to people, whether they're friends, acquaintances, or others. Maybe it's easier to make sure that the communication's smoother, because sometimes, you know, when people have different personalities, styles, or communication styles, there can be misunderstandings. Things aren't always easily picked up on the right way or understood how it's meant to be. And maybe through all of this communication has made it a little bit easier for me to be a little bit more nuanced and refined in how I understand where people are coming from, you know, pro, con, whatever. So next, I'm going to try to read the letter, or excuse me, the proclamation from the mayor of Fargo in the next video. I want to try, I'm going out of order some because I want to try to get all of the letters of support, or excuse me, letters of support don't normally have the date July 2nd as like a specific day. So what I meant to say was like resolutions, proclamations that are specifically for July 2nd, 2025. I want to make sure as much as I can today that I cover those. So thank you for watching. Take care. If you like this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to Lawrence Welk Tributes, the YouTube channel, if you are not yet subscribed to it. The name is Lawrence Welk Tributes. And I also have an email address related to all this that you can write to if you wish. It is the 70th anniversary at gmail.com. And whether in public or private, whether you want to leave a comment for the public here on any of these videos, or you want to write in private, up to you. But if you're over 18, tell me how old you are, where you're from, like what town or country, why you're interested in these videos, any memories you may have about the Lawrence Welk Show, if you watched it, if you met him, know people that were involved with the show or met him or anything like that. And especially privately, if you know of anyone you think might be a good idea for me to get in touch with that might be interested in discussing this project with me, whether it's to give me a letter of support as an individual, as a organization, as an elected official, as part of a branch of government that I haven't been in touch with yet. And there's many of those because most of my efforts so far have been in North Dakota, some overlap at the moment in Minnesota. I've done a little bit of reaching out in South Dakota, and in Florida, where I'm from, the North Florida area, I've done some reaching out. So, oh yeah, and I've also sent emails to maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 other states, whether it's media, in some cases, state houses. And so I have tons of places and people all over this country in the large majority of states that are basically untouched soil, so to speak. And so if you have anything that could help put me on a sort of expressway, right? An expressway that can help me cut through and save some time, get to people that can help make this easier and quicker, I would appreciate you, if you think they'd be comfortable with it, giving me their, I don't know, their name or their email or website, phone number, whatever they might be comfortable with you sharing with me. And I'd be happy to get in touch with them. Take a look at, why is it that you're mentioning them? And what I mean by this is figure out what their profession is or their connection to the show or what their interest might be. But thank you for watching and take care. I'll be back in a moment.